Welcome to Momentum Monday. Today is October 18, 2020. Howard, are you back in Phoenix?
I'm back in Phoenix, baby. Just did a 30 miler. I'm so tired.
How's the weather? Did you do 30 miles on your Peloton?
No, but I have a Peloton coming, baby. I don't know why. Look at that.
Top, right?
Look at my beautiful mountain view.
It's beautiful, but your purchase might be the top, right, in that stock.
Peloton? I didn't. Oh, my buy of the Peloton, but we're gonna do Momentum Mondays from my Peloton. We'll have a huge following over there. There's going to be Sunday morning rides with Ivan and Howard while we talk about the market to my class. You don't think people will listen to that?
I think it will be a big hit, among certain age group.
Yeah, 90 to 95.
Yeah. All right, let's go to the markets.
Do we have a show? What do we talk about every week?
Usually your dog and a little bit about the market.
My dog is here right now. Puppy, you see Ivan? Where is she? Oh, okay.
So last week we had a huge gap on Monday, and since then just basically relentless selling, kind of consolidation. So I think it's very likely if in the next couple of weeks, just before the elections, the indices just consolidate in a wide range, maybe 280 to 300 if we're lucky. Kind of setting for a potential breakout. That's the bullish scenario. The one thing that, we're in the midst of earnings season. The earnings season just started, and the biggest event last week was the big drop in Fastly, because I think it will have implications for other stocks. Obviously, the stock had a big run just before that announcement. And people were chasing, thinking that thing will just keep growing no matter what, blindly chasing. And after this big gap down, I think the confidence and the blind chasing are not going to be as relentless. Because now all of a sudden people will realize that they might lose money, and we might see some of the momentum stocks pull back ahead of earnings because they're already up significantly in the past few weeks. Like many of them are up 30, 40, 50%, and Peloton is one example. So I wouldn't be surprised if people get, after Fastly, people get scared and decide, oh, let's lock in profits here just in case something happens after earnings. So I wouldn't be surprised if we see, high momentum stocks kind of pulling back. So for next week, there are good short and long opportunities. I think some of the short opportunities will be in those high momentum stocks that people might just take profits ahead of earnings, just in case, so they don't experience another Fastly.
Mm-hmm.
These are my
if you pull up Cloudflare, it didn't really pull back on the Fastly thing. I think people are going to start differentiating between what is a true platform and what is a poser platform. Fastly was priced for perfection. Definitely didn't have anything, it's more of a commodity-based area, whereas Cloudflare is much more of a networking platform. So you can see the money is hot and the money is chasing, but the best companies are holding in there. Atlassian broke out.
Yep.
Team. You had, anyways, it's. Look at that. That is pretty bullish. That had been kind of lagging the software stocks. Elastic still right there pulling back, but so there's just a lot of strength. But I see what you're saying in Peloton. I actually bought a few puts. I didn't sell any more stock but I actually bought a few puts just to, in case. The stock Peloton could pull back 30% and still be in an uptrend.
Exactly.
A lot of these stocks. So I think, entries matter. And it seems like if you go back to the S&P or the QQQ, the market's starting to price in, which sets up for surprises, obviously, but the market's starting to price in a Biden win. And it's not as bad as the Republicans and Fox News would make it out to be if, the market's not listening to Trump. It's listening to the words of Biden, which is, no new taxes for anybody over under 400K, which pretty much means nobody. And the money printing will go on. The kick pass the buck politics will continue to go on. If Biden wins, maybe they stop the wall. Maybe they stop the tariffs. What are the semiconductors doing? I mean, you would think they would benefit. Yeah, they're holding in there well. I mean, it's starting to price in the tariffs would probably just stop the next day, and he'd be probably pretty. Yeah, well, I mean, Texas Instrument, I think, broke out, or Taiwan Semiconductor broke out. Look at the semis. I mean, and then if you look at the Chinese stocks, for all the talk of it, Tencent and Alibaba are all-time highs.
Yeah.
All the talk about stopping China. And it's all these companies are so big, they don't care what the politicians are saying at some level, right? Like, remember the pullbacks in Alibaba over the last year when all the rhetoric, and same thing with Tencent and TikTok. So I don't know. There is, like you said, there's more FASTs out there. Some of the biotechs have had gap downs, but I think the biotech sector will continue to be strong. There's a risk. I mean, Ivan, you look at this, it's risk on. I mean, I don't see any risk off. I think individual stocks right here are going to have their risk, but these indexes all, I don't know. I think no matter who wins, we'll probably see a pullback, right? For a couple months.
I have no idea, really.
Yeah. So I don't know. I mean, I'm not seeing any reason to be nervous. I would just say, kind of watch your entries. Are there any individual stocks
I'm not saying really to be nervous. I'm just saying that last week we saw quite a few reversals, like stocks that try to break out and then reversed.
Yeah.
So it is something to pay attention to. I'm very rarely looking at short setups, and for this week I am. And as I explained, there is a reason for that. I think that the drop in Fastly will kind of change the sentiment for some stocks. But you're right. I think no matter who wins, there will be a new stimulus check. People say if Biden wins, the stimulus package will be much bigger, which is better for the market. And maybe this is why we see that relative strength in small caps, which are kind of holding a little bit better.
A couple of my stocks that I'll pull up, CRISPR Genetics, are continue to do well. There's a big breakout this week.
Yeah, the genetic.
Some Nobel Prizes for the founders that I own. And then Taser had a huge, NTLA is very interesting. I mean, I just don't know how to analyze these companies. NTLA looks really cool, Ivan.
Exactly. The gene editing stocks are looking good. But yes.
The other one is Taser, AAXN. And I've talked about it here for a while. And it's been kind of choppy, but now it's just relentless. This is what happens when they go, they go. I mean, this stock could really go. I think people are starting to get my whole cloud. They have their own private kind of cloud for police forces, right, and military, like with the cameras on the vests. And I talked about a few weeks ago where they made a Netflix movie based on the footage of what they had from the policemen and the first on the scene. So, and then you combine, the fact that Taser's an interesting product in a gun-filled world. Maybe the Democrats will demand that over guns. You know what I mean, for police. So that just feels like that has tremendous upside on this breakout. But it's had a history of disappointing investors. The other one that's had a history of disappointing investors, and I've kind of been chopped around, but back in it, First Solar.
Oh, First Solar, yeah, exactly.
Which has just been breaking out.
Yeah.
I mean, I got stopped out a couple of weeks ago in the high 60s, re-entered it here at 78, 79, but this looks ready to go. There's nobody left in that stock. No, I mean, there's nobody left from 2011. Anything over a 5-6 year breakout, I consider all-time highs in this world that we live in. And so it's a laggard in the solar space, so you got to be careful. But man, look at all those blue bars, Ivan, on First Solar.
Yeah, it's a beautiful setup, and I think it can run to 100.
Yeah.
No.
So that's another one. I'm trying to see some other stocks of mine. Japan looked really interesting too.
Japan.
I just don't know. JC was bringing it up, but I really.
This is Japan.
That's the wrong index that I saw. He pulled up some interest. No worries. I'm trying to think of something else in my portfolio. I'm just looking up. McDonald's. You know, it's kind of been the laggard restaurant, but I think as COVID carries on, you can see that's been a laggard. Obviously, it's been a Chipotle's, Domino's world, but as you know, it's just been beautiful since the March bottom for a large cap stock, and I think there's just a lot more upside there if the market continues higher. So that's kind of all I got. I think there's not that many great setups because everything's pretty extended. But I think I think that's a good environment for traders right now.
Yeah, it's
a lot of liquidity. There's a lot of liquidity. You got a lot of earning seasons. You know, a lot of people making money in options. So I hope everybody has a good week. I'm going to keep it short.
All right. Sounds good.
All right, everybody. Have a great week.
All right.